What's up, guys? I'm going to break down my exact nutrition plan that will help you lose 10 to 20 pounds of pure stomach and chest fat before summer, along with the 3 steps on how to be successful with it. And if you do these 3 steps and you do them right and you do them consistently, you too will lose 10 to 20 pounds of pure fat before the summer, despite working long hours in your career, not having a lot of time to hit the gym, and just being on the go constantly. And for some of you who are maybe new to my world or maybe don't know who I am just yet, my name is Tyler Jones, and I was a former sports sales executive for about a year in the NFL. And I want to take you guys back to when I was in sports sales. You know, coming from being a personal trainer for 3 years, helping over 100 plus people change their lives and transitioning into the sales world. It was definitely a big transition, but it was a lot of fun, and I started out really strong. You know, I was closing a lot of deals and setting a bunch of records and leading the pack amongst my inside sales team. But very quickly, and before you know it, my health just started to deteriorate. You know, I started to feel, low energy, getting winded going up the stairs. I wasn't barely sleeping or sleeping well, getting good rest. And I was just super stressed out 24/7. And at the time I was working 60, 70, sometimes 80 hours a week, and just constantly working nonstop and getting home super late and going to work super early in the morning. And I just remember finally when 4 months later, after I'd gained 30 pounds and just looking in the mirror, how upset and, low confident I was, because now I was not in a body that I liked. I was super low energy. I didn't feel good. And I was just super stressed out all the time and wasn't able to enjoy my life. And it wasn't until I was sitting in a MetLife Stadium parking lot on December 6, 2019. And I remember looking in the mirror and just deciding like I could not be this way anymore. I had to decide to just get fucking pissed off for greatness and decide to make a change. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm super excited to share the exact nutrition plan and things I implemented during then that I still do today, and also the 3 steps for you to be successful during this training. And again, if you're someone who struggles with dropping 10 to 20 pounds and obviously want to do it before summer, make sure you take a lot of notes on these because it's going to be super helpful for you guys. So step number 1, before we jump into the actual nutrition plan on screen, is to dial in your calories, guys. So the number 1 mistake I see people in general, myself, also people in the world of sales make, is they just try to eat clean and healthy, and they end up doing it for a short amount of time, right? Instead of just eating right. There's a difference between eating healthy and eating right, guys. And I remember I made this mistake when I was in the world of sales at the New York Jets at the time. And by this point, I had already gained about 10 to 15 pounds. And I started to try to make changes and just focus on eating healthy. And that led me to gaining another 15 pounds because I was just eating so much grilled chicken, rice, and vegetables, but I was eating enormous amounts of it. And that actually caused me to put on a lot of weight and a lot of body fat, because again, people think just because they eat healthy that they're going to lose weight, and that's just not the truth, guys. At the end of the day, you have to dial in your calories and get the right proportions for your bodies and for your goals. And if you need a little bit of help, I'm going to drop a link in the bio as well to a calorie calculator. It will give you a ballpark based off of your goals and where you're at now, to give you that a ballpark range of how many calories you should be eating every day. The thing I do with my clients is a very more in-depth, way to calculate based off of their goals, their height, their activity level, and their genetics, all that good stuff. But I couldn't do it on this type of training. So a ballpark number is better than nothing. I'll make sure to drop that in the bio for you guys at the end of this video. So again, guys, make sure step 1 is to dial in your calories to get the right amount of calories so you can eat right instead of just eating healthy. And number 2, guys, step number 2 is to give yourself a variety of flexible eating. So flexible dieting lifestyle. And the biggest mistake, along with just eating healthy, that I see is people just try to eat the same thing over and over and over and over again. And they restrict themselves during the week, and they end up going balls to the wall on the weekend. Whether it's going out on the town, going to the bars, having a bunch of drinks, eating a bunch of fast food, living it up, feeling like shit, and then ended up coming around to the next week to do it all over again. And just imagine this. If you hated doing cardio or being on the treadmill at the gym, and you did it every single day or every time you went to the gym and you hated every second of it, eventually you're going to walk away and not do the cardio anymore just because your mind can't handle it because you don't enjoy doing it. And so it's not enjoyable. And that's the same thing that goes for your nutrition is when you try to eat clean 24/7 or eat the same thing over and over Monday through Friday, you're good and you restrict yourself. And then on the weekends, you just go balls to the wall. So again, that is a vicious cycle to be in. And that's why it's important for you to implement the 80-20 rule, which stands for flexible dieting, along with your calories. So guys, when you have your calories dialed in, right, and you have 80-20 rule, think about it like this. Here is the Flex Nutrition script, the meal plan for you guys. Here are a bunch of recipes that you guys can go through. I'm not going to really touch on them too much, but 80-20 rule, guys. So right here, you see you can pick one item from choice 1, one item from choice 2, and one item from choice 3, which you will see are all different ones. Here's your proteins, then your carbs, then your fats, right? So when you follow the 80-20 rule, guys, you're going to eat 80% of the time, you're going to eat healthy meal prepped meals or foods that you cook on your own. And then 20% of the time, you're going to have fun. So think of putting together a couple different options, like whether you want to go with chicken breast as one of your proteins, along with, one tin of tuna or one thing of shrimp for the week. And then that way you have 2 proteins to mix and match with, right? And then you pick pasta for one meal, and then or you have rice for another. And the same thing, maybe you have a snack of nuts, or you do like 1 teaspoon of olive oil, or you have eggs, right? You just kind of, or avocado. You switch things up a little bit. And I'm not saying you gotta, prep all of this in advance, but just to give yourself a variety of being able to not have to eat the same thing over and over again before you lose your shit, right? And with this 80-20 rule, think of if you have 3 meals for the week, right? 3 meals per day times 7, that's 21 meals for the week. 80% of that is 17 meals are good, healthy, cooked meals, right? And what that's going to do is going to obviously give you the opportunity to control how many calories you're eating more for a majority of the week. But 2, you get to fuel your body with good, nutritious food, because that's what healthy food and clean food does, guys. It makes you feel good. It gives you vitamins and minerals, so that way you keep your energy high. That's why they're important to have throughout your nutrition routine. And then the other 4 meals, have fun. Whether that's going out with the guys, grabbing some drinks, going to your favorite, dinner spot, whatever it is. That way you have those 4 meals throughout the week. Or if you want to get Chipotle for one lunch throughout the week, it doesn't matter. When you have a ratio like that, it prevents you from having to eat clean 24/7 throughout the week and then binging on the weekends when you actually give yourself some wiggle room. And when you have your calories dialed in, guys, this is where you'll be able to track all of that food, obviously all your proportions, understand how much you're eating, and at the same time still enjoy your life, have fun, and still be able to lose weight, guys. So step number 1 is to dial in your calories. Step number 2 is to give yourself a variety and follow the 80-20 rule with flexible dieting. And number 3, which is the biggest one, is I would say pick one day to meal prep. So again, the biggest mistake I see with people in the world of sales and just in general, I know I made this mistake, and it was one of the biggest mistakes I made when I gained 30 pounds in sales, is that they operate on the go. They always don't prepare, and they always just operate on the go. And it's very common in the world of sales. And when you operate on the go, you have no control of what you eat, because you're always going to settle for fast food, and you have no control of just what's going on in your week or how to set yourself up for success. So imagine every time you went to the sales office every week and you didn't, have control of your schedule, or you didn't, set your follow-up appointments, set your tasks on the schedule, like your meetings, all those things, and you just went in blind all the time, right? You wouldn't be set up for success, and you would be all over the place and probably end up getting in a lot of trouble with your boss. So it's the same thing when it comes to your nutrition. If you're always setting yourself up for failure going into the week, no wonder why you're always going to settle for not nutritious options, always eating fast food, or always just settling for whatever you can. And then you're gaining unnecessary weight because you don't have control of the controllables. So exactly why I said when you do the 80-20 rule and you do dial in your calories, right? you have more control. And when you pick one meal prep day, you set yourself up for success for the week, at least for a majority of the week. So that way you have a lot less stress and a lot less things to worry about. And then you can focus more on your career and grinding on the phones or whatever you got going on in your life at the time. So my biggest thing is to pick one day a week, set aside time to control the controllables, and a meal prep should probably take you about 45 minutes to maybe an hour, guys. And the other thing I wanted to break that down, exactly why you pick two of these proteins. And guys, I would recommend when it comes to the protein side of things, pick two proteins and just prep your meats. If you're someone who's super spent on time and you don't have a lot of energy or you're always on the go, just pick two meats to prep. That way you can focus more on simple carbs, like getting like the minute rices that I used a lot during my time in sales, because you could just pop it in a microwave and it has a certain amount of calories, so you know how much you're eating. Same thing with veggies. You can always meal prep a bunch of them, like frozen veggies, put them in the microwave, and then you have them for the whole week. But I would say focus a lot of your time on just prepping the meat, so that way, because they take the longest to cook, and that way you have a lot of time to dedicate to other things. And if you're someone who is stretched on meal prepping, or you don't know how to cook, right? Or you don't know how to, don't have the energy or time to cook, right? You can always do something like this. And there's also some tips in here for the meal prep as well. Like, again, keeping it very super simple, and also getting a food scale, guys. But again, if you're someone who lacks time and energy to make food, here's another solution, is to invest in a meal prep company, guys. And there's a bunch of links in here to go through, some that are national, some that are just on the East Coast, close to where I am, that are very good. But my point is, if you don't have the time and you don't have the energy, you might have to use your money in order to get your time back and not have to waste energy on meal prep, guys. And a lot of those places have good, convenient meals. And if you're someone who's always eating out 24/7 or throughout the week and getting fast food, you might as well put your money towards a meal prep options, where you know how much you're eating, you know how many calories, protein, all that good stuff, and you're eating food that's not going to make you feel like shit all the time, and you're going to obviously feel better, right? And obviously, again, control the controllables, that you get to eat good food that actually tastes good, and it's healthy, on obviously more healthy than obviously going to Chick-fil-A and all that other stuff. And that way, again, you control the controllables and you stay on track for losing the 10 to 20 pounds before summer, guys. And again, following these 3 steps of dialing your calories, giving yourself variety, following the 80-20 rule and flexible dieting. And number 3 is pick one day to meal prep. And if you can't do that, invest in a meal prep company. Invest your money into yourself to set yourself up for success for your goals. So guys, I hope this training was super helpful and you got a lot of value out of it, and I'm super excited to bring you more value in the coming days, in the coming weeks. And don't forget, this meal nutrition plan will be clipped in the bio below, and along with the calorie calculator that will give you a range. Again, not perfect, not spot on, but it will give you a range of the calories that you should be eating in order to hit your goals before summer. So guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Peace.